Time for another in sickness journal. The one I'm about to read, I wrote in 2019, and I just pulled it up and I was skimming through it. And it's about appointments with doctors. Most of these are about that, but this one's about the hope that I have going in. If a illness is new, you have all this optimism going in to see the physician, and then this is about the process of losing hope, the process of having your little hope bubbles popped, the disappointment in successive appointments. And I say he when I'm talking about physicians, very generally referring to doctors as he. And like I could say he or she, but it just gets clunky in the sentence. And I have too much value for sentences. And I just didn't want to do that. Um, there's that like S/he thing. Like I don't know is that like is there a pronunciation at all? I have no idea of that. Um, or does that like only exist in writing? I could say they, but I just grammatically, I know that it's accepted socially, and but like grammatically, I didn't want to do that. Um, I could just say she, but like the majority of my doctors really are he, and so I just went with the majority. So I hope you don't like how you can interpret this however you want. I'm just going to read it. I don't need to control your interpretation. In sickness, August 9th, 2019, the doctor-patient relationship. The doctor-patient relationship is a precious bond. There's comfort in being known. There's healing in that comfort. When I first became sick, I would arrive at the hospital in pain, confused, terrified. Then the doctor would enter my room and begin to ask me questions. I would respond. He would interpret those responses, and I could see what looked like a calculating mind solving the riddles and equations as they were being presented to him. And then, problem solved. Those exact words wouldn't leave his mouth, but I could always see them on his face, and I wasn't misinterpreting anything. Problem solved was communicated to me very clearly in American brow language. The moment I saw it, I would be overcome with a sensation stronger than relief. Finally. That's the thought that appeared on my face, because finally I was going to get better. This man, or sometimes, but fewer times, woman, will fix this. They'll make it go away, and then I can get past it. Finally, it's finally over. Basking in this reassurance, I would answer a few more of the doctor's questions, formalities, pleasantries, but no curiosities, because the diagnosis was already made. Then I'd be given discharge papers and a prescription to fill, which I would fill urgently and take expectantly. The next day, I would take it a few minutes ahead of schedule. The day after that, a few more minutes ahead of schedule, and then a few more. Eventually, I had to set an earlier alarm. That's when I realized nothing was changing. I wasn't getting better. Either the diagnosis or the treatment was wrong. I would resolve to finish the bottle, but I wouldn't be setting any more alarms. Days would pass, maybe a week, sometimes 2 weeks. Then I'd be back in front of the doctor, a different doctor, a new one, again, usually a man. And this new man would quickly tuck my anxiety in for bed. It's time to rest, worries. Just go to sleep. I'll take it from here. Those were the brows he donned as he asked his questions and listened to my answers. Finally, I would think, in such a way that reveals I'm genuinely reassured. I actually believe it every time, doctor after doctor, I believe it completely. And then I believe it a little less. And then I believe it a little less. And then I stop believing it altogether. And then I stop believing doctors altogether, as a rule, like a type of cultural profiling, like an inner city teenager's distrust of cops. It doesn't stop there. Soon I can no longer conceal my disappointment in the doctor's diagnoses or my skepticism in their prescriptions. That's when the doctors start to see me like how an inner city police officer sees a shifty-eyed juvie. That's when I knew I was not going to get well. All right, that's it. I actually had this thought was coming to me as I was reading. I didn't read it very well, but I'm just going to keep it. I had a physician who called herself a savior. A savior. She said, "You're in need of a savior." And then the follow-up sentences were like, "Let me serve that role." And then, like, if you can't deliver on your salvation, right, don't promise it. Like, nothing changed. It was horrible. And then, like, I never saw that, but like, it refused to see me. I don't need to tell that. But like, if If like they refuse to see me probably out of embarrassment because like, are you better? No, I'm worse. I'm way worse than I was before based on the medication I should have been. Um, but like, let's say there's a cat stuck in a tree, okay, and like you show up in like a Superman suit or a Wonder Woman suit. You show up in a Wonder Woman suit. Can Wonder Woman fly? If Wonder Woman can fly, you show up in a Wonder Woman suit. And like, oh, thank God you're here. Can you get, little Pippi out of the tree? And it's like, no, I thought you needed, like, whatever. You get what I'm saying. I'm way too tired to be making this analogy. But I hope your salvation is not promised and is just delivered by people doing their job. That's what I hope. And I'll see you in the next one.